Philippe, you're helping to set up the Brixton Green Community Land Trust. What's the big idea here?
Well, originally the idea was to change the image of Brixton and allowing more investment, and through investment, employment, health, education, and coming across community land trust, we established that if the community owned the land in perpetuity, we could develop the idea of a green hub, or a sort of a Silicon Valley of social and green enterprise, and through that influx of capital and workforce enable a real economic and social regeneration of Brixton.
So economic and social regeneration of Brixton, what does that involve?
Well, that involves, I mean, manyfold. I think it's, health, education, employment, training, urban agriculture, in one word, opportunities.
Okay.
For
so
local people.
You've got a site that you'd like to develop.
That's right. I mean, it's at the moment we don't have anything because it's owned by the local authority mostly and a private owner. But we're talking with Lambeth and have very good support from Lambeth in turning that site into a community land trust.
And what will be there if you manage to acquire that site?
At the moment, the partners in our consortium would be Oval House, so Arts and Theatre, Lambeth College, Hillmead Primary School, so education, art. We're talking to workshop providers, so commercial elements. We're talking to London Underground, who has a substation there, to see how they can come not as just a land transfer deal, but as a partner, because this is really what we've always had. To start, the core principle of Brixton Green is how to assemble partners locally to transform the community, or help the community to transform itself.
Okay, and how many people will live there, do you hope?
Well, the estimated figures at the moment is around the 160 units, which will be a mixture of flats, family houses, older people, accommodation. There'll be student housing as well, so I'd guess, 500-600 people, maybe more. I haven't got the precise figures, but and it'll be the idea of the development is to do it on a plinth idea. So you have the commercial activities and community activities, whether it's the dental practice or nursery or theatre, under the plinth, and above it have the residential quarter with the urban agriculture.
Okay, and what will the urban agriculture involve? Tell me a bit more about
that is very exciting actually, because we'll have allotments on site as well, which is good for people to mingle together, and it has its purpose, but it's not going to feed Brixton.
Yeah.
We need to feed Brixton sustainably. So commercial greenhouses, we're looking at producing about 120 tons of fruit and veg a year.
in the middle of Brixton?
Yeah. On site through hydroponics greenhouses, which ideally would be linked with an aerobic digester on a site nearby, which would provide the substrate to feed the plants. And then the plant waste, as well as other organic waste, would go back into the AD plant. So you'd have a perfect loop of food production. And the heat from the AD plant and the electricity would go and power the development and nearby housing estates.
Okay. Some people would say that this idea is all a bit wacky. Will it ever happen?
I think it will happen, whether it happens exactly as we see it now. And we haven't put anything formal, because I think what we should look at is how do we develop it incrementally, and how do we get the community to develop it. So we have done a visualization exercise. We have laid down principles, which is education, urban agriculture, health, employment. But it is the real question is, how does the community sees that? What do they see in health? Do they want a GP surgery, or do they want an alternative medicine practice? I mean, it's us about enabling, but not about doing. We don't want to be imposing things on people, because that's how development's been done so far.
Okay. So are the community behind this?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, you got very good support from the council, very good support from a lot of key stakeholders. I'd say, things like Brixton Society, Transition Town Brixton, you know, a lot of different groups. And so far, on the limited consultation we did with residents, I mean, I say limited, it's not that limited, but not that extensive neither. There's fantastic support.
Yeah. So when would you expect to see something happen?
With good luck, we'd like to go on site within 18 months or so.
Okay.
You know, but that's probably quite optimistic. But we're very optimistic. So.